Good morning, everyone. Test, this is Rocky. Can everyone hear me this morning?
I can hear you, sir.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm waiting for others to log in here and we will start shortly.
Okay, and I can hear you too.
Perfect. How's everyone doing this morning?
Doing well. How about you?
It's been a good day.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We like them when they start out that way.
Right. Oh, are we doing video?
All right, it's looking good here. Looks like we're getting quite a few coming on board. Well, everyone, thank you again. We'll go ahead and get started, and we're going to record this too so we can push that out. I appreciate everyone joining in this morning. I know that you all are from multiple locations. As we're progressing through this, feel free to stop me and ask a question if needed. To begin with, what I'd like to do is introduce myself. My name's Rocky Williams, and I'm the operations manager here at ProMus. And we'll be working with each one of you on your supply needs. And if you have questions in regards to the LIMS system, answering those, making sure that you're set up as well. We will base the setups off of the account sheets that we received. In the progression going forward, if there's somebody additionally that needs to be added that doesn't currently have access, then if you'll email me with that information, we can get them set up as well. Again, we do have a lab information system that we will provide to you for access of pulling and creating your reports, just so that we're all starting on the same page as far as nomenclature. Kind of how we view the life cycle of a case is that it initially starts out as a requisition from you, and then you will at that point in time type in all the pertinent information on the individual that needs to be tested. And once you've completed your requisition, you will turn that into an order for us. We will take that order and then we will go ahead and convert it into an actual accession for us, which tells us, hey, we've got a test that we need to run. Here's the details on it. And we will take that then and run the test and then result it back to you. So that's basically the life cycle of how we do that case. There are some options that you have available also within the system. One would be from the standpoint of setting up some tracking for the individual cases. You can create a manifest and include that manifest with the shipping tracking information, and then go ahead and include that both inside the FedEx pack that you would send back to us, and also keep one for your record if you'd like to choose that option. And we'll go over that here in a moment as well. Have I lost anybody at that point?
No.
Hey,
Okay.
Rocky. I know some more people are trying to get on. Can you allow them in real quick?
Sure, yes. It looks like everybody should be in at this point.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I will send a copy of what I just went over as well in a soft document to your account managers for each of your locations that basically has a schematic of that progression going from a requisition to an order to an accession on our side and then doing the test and completing it to where the report is finalized. So give you a little visual there if needed as well. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen with you here. And the end result is that we want to get to a report back to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and head off to that right at the beginning here. And that report would look something like this here, where you would either have the results, you'd have all the information as it details on the patient, you'd have the physician that's connected to the ordering of that, specifically the information on the sample, and then of course the results, be it positive or negative, they would be there, and then you'd have a sign out from our facility as well. So that is what the report will look like, which is our ultimate goal, to get tested for you and provide those results back. Are there any questions as it relates to that particular screen?
Rocky, this is Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
This is going to be the final report for the just the straight COVID testing, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other
Raphael,
questions?
I have one more person trying to get on.
Okay.
If she's not already. She will in a minute.
Yeah, we're on the audio, but we need to get in the video, please.
Okay. Can you hear us and see us now?
It says we're connecting. Yep, we're good. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to stop the sharing of this screen and switch over to another one and be right back with you. All right, can everybody see the screen that says Vital DX on the left, upper left corner?
Yes.
Okay, great. From here, each one of you, once I receive your setup sheets for your facility, which the majority of the individuals that are on this call, I more than likely have, there would be a login credentials created for you, and I'll send those back to you individually based upon the information that I have as far as your email address. That would be both your login and your password. When you log in the very first time, you'll receive a screen with all the legalese connected to the platform. Bottom right-hand corner, there will be an accept button for that. Once you've accepted that, then you will come into the main screen for the system, and it will provide you with the option to go ahead and create security questions, change your password, and then eventually get into the main system at that point. I'm going to log in here to a demo system that I've got set up. So your first screen when you log in, you would come into this right here. And if you remember what we had talked about at the very beginning, we start the life cycle of a case out as a requisition. That requisition tab is located underneath orders, and you'll see it right here in the upper left-hand corner. It says a new requisition. So every time you've got an individual that you want to test, you would create a requisition for them. So you'd click here, and then that comes up with this screen at this point here. A lot of the things we're going to be working to continue to default for you as much as possible to minimize the things that you need to hand key in. But essentially at this point, you'll need to select which date you've collected the specimen on. The specific time, as you can see in here, you can select. This will be a default, which you do not need to change. And as you'll notice, I'm going from things that are asterisked, which are required fields, Based upon your login, it will confirm which facilities you have access to, and that will be a drop down right here. For right now, we're going to go ahead and come back to the ProMus demo account. It will also be based upon your location, determine which doctors are loaded in the system for you to select as well. In the event that in the future you have a new doctor that's hired and at that location, if you'll just email us, we'll make sure that they're provided access in the system for you to select as well. This case number right here, what we would like to have you do is two things. One, inside the kits that have been sent to you is a barcoded label. So as you're preparing the packaging for that individual, take that peeled label and write the date of birth and their name on it, and go ahead and stick it in on the sample tube. Additionally, if you have a scanner, bar scanner, you can go ahead and place your cursor at this location and then barcode scan it, and it'll automatically populate it in there. In the event that you do not, just go ahead and hand key whatever that number might be, but still include the label on the specimen tube as you ship it back to us. From there, you come over to here and select which type of test is being performed. We're going to break the swab up to both oral and nasal, and then saliva as well. I know that a lot of you are waiting on the kits for saliva, and we should have our supplies in here shortly to repackage them out to you. So we'll go ahead and select swab at this point. And then we need you to come over here and enter in a ICD-10 code, or as many that apply to your particular patient. That is a required field. Now, one of the things that I have seen that have come across, we've had some individuals enter in U07 as a code, and then because it's U07.1, they're thinking that they put the points over here, and so they'll put a 1 over there. Well, that actually will create a failure as far as that particular code. It really needs to be entered in fully U07.1, and then if you have more than one, go ahead and enter in those into all those selections there.
Hey, Rocky.
Yes.
Where are those Z codes? I don't see, I mean, those ICD-10 codes, I don't see those. We've been telling everyone, usually what we do is we got rid of the Z11.59 because that was considered like COVID-19 screening, but we've been telling everyone Z03.818 and also Z20.828. Are those, and then of course, if they're symptomatic, you have other codes you need to put in there as far as what symptoms they have. But the U codes, I haven't seen those.
It's an example for right here.
Okay.
And from the standpoint, if you've got default codes that you've been utilizing and are comfortable with across the board, if you'll go ahead and pass those on to me, we can make those as a drop down so that you can select them here and you don't have to type.
That's perfect, Rocky. Thank you. I'll get those to you after this call.
Okay, that'll be great. Additionally, then, the next section here, we're going to leave this as the default. It's built-in insurance on everything at this point. You come down to the next section, which is the patient information. Of course, first name, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of this as we're going through. I should have done that here. Okay. I'm a baseball fan, so I'm actually going to enter in individuals that are baseball related. So for the first one here, many of you may be familiar with that St. Louis player, Lou Brock.
The base thing.
So we'll go ahead and put Lou in there.
That's the base burglar, Rocky.
That's right. And I do not know his actual birthday, but we're going to put one in here. And this information here, if you have it and you're willing to provide, great, but it is not required for us to get the test through. So we will go ahead and proceed down here.
Sorry, not even the social security number?
We will need the social, if these individuals do not have insurance, then yes, we would need the social security number. And that being that we will be trying to take care of that through the CARES Act for them. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay. We are defaulting right now the panel to be COVID-19 down here in this area here. we do need you to try to help us out, collect this information right here on that individual. For the race, we have these options that are available. Going down to ethnicity right here. And then a lot of people just read through that real quick. It's not country, it's county. We need to know the county that that individual lives in. And of course, that's in the event that somebody comes back positive. We are reporting to the CDC in the state. And so they want to have that information so that they can follow up with things that they do. Then next, with the insurance information, if you'll click either here or here, it will give you the panels for insurance. And you'll see the information that we have for you to fill in. Of course, the more information we have, the better off it is for us to be following up and completing the billing on these individuals. If you type in a minimal amount of it, then we may have to come back and say, hey, can you provide us with XYZ on that particular individual based upon what we get back from our billing company.
Rocky, we have one more question.
Sure.
Someone has asked a question about the influenza A and B recommendation by the CDC. Are we automatically doing the testing on COVID-19 with the addition of influenza A and B? Or are we just doing straight COVID?
Right now we're doing straight COVID. However, we are in the process of working on the validation to go ahead and bring that in, and then that will be an available option thereafter.
Okay. Now it's not, folks, I want to make sure that I clarify my question. The influenza A and B is a recommendation from the CDC. It's not mandatory, but it's a common sense recommendation in that we know that we're in the middle of flu season. It's going to be a combination flu season, COVID-19, and also pneumonia. So it just stands to reason that you want to test and see if you got influenza A and B at the same time you're doing COVID, because they do mimic each other. I'm sorry, Rocky, go ahead.
No, I appreciate.
And Kevin, I want to throw one thing in there. That would only be for patients, not staff.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, sir.
Because patients insurance will cover it, but staff most likely won't. And so we want to make sure that you guys understand that it will only be for patients.
Right. Very good. Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you, gentlemen. So at this point, we've completed what we need to have in regards to patient information, the CDC requirements, insurance information, and the test platform. So there are certain things that we want you to do. This is one, we want to have this where it's now, again, a requisition. So we're going to just save it, and that will retain all the information there that you have. And then, again, going into the aspect that you want to change that requisition into an order. You want to say, okay, ProMus, we want you to actually test this individual, and we are sending specimens for them. So then you go ahead and hit order. You'll notice it comes back and says it's been successfully converted to an order. Go ahead and click OK. Well, where did that go? Well, now you see it in the order screen at that particular point in time. The next question probably would be is, okay, I've gone ahead and got all my orders entered in. I'm ready to ship them to you. As I mentioned earlier, you have the opportunity, if you want to take advantage of it. Oh, and let me back up here. In the event that you want to go ahead and print a requisition form on that, just go ahead and click that particular individual, print requisition, and you will then have a paper format that you can go ahead and keep for your records and also include in the biohazard bag if you choose at that point in time. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Rocky, it's me again. So you can use this to print off the rec form from the portal and then include that with the face sheet for a resident. And actually just this rec form as an employee, for an employee or a staff of the facility, you can just include that in the outer portion of the biohazard bag with the specimen as it goes to the lab. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, what about paper requisitions? Do you all have paper, or do you want everything done on the portal?
We would prefer it to be on the portal.
Okay.
That would just help in the flow and making sure that we turn things around in an expeditious manner to you. Okay,
but if you're going to do everything on the portal, my next question obviously would be, if everything's going to be in the portal, the next time we come in to do a test on that same patient, is the redundancy going to be, is there redundancy where you don't have to put everything in again, or is it already going to be in there?
It should be in the system. You should begin to be able to type it by name and bring it up.
Okay, very good. That saves a lot of time. So the labor is on the front end of the process, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point then, you've printed that requisition. Now you're ready to go ahead and ship it together with a lot of your orders that you've already created. You can come in then at that particular point in time, and we'll go back over to logistics here. You want to create a package to send the specimens back. So you have to have at least one selected. I'm going to go ahead and do none right now so that you see the error option that comes back. And it's telling me, okay, you're wanting to create a package, but what are you wanting to include in it? I haven't done that yet. So we'll go ahead and come back, and we'll select just 2 of them here, and we're ready to send that package off. We'll go ahead and create the package. And then at that point in time, who do you want to put it to the attention of? We'll send it to Tony Williams. What's our tracking number based upon the FedEx label that you've been supplied with? Go ahead and enter that in. Destination, of course, is defaulting to the lab. Which carrier are you utilizing? The ones that we've sent you labels on is FedEx. Your package date, your estimated delivery time based upon what you've set as an option, which, for these, it should be priority overnight. And you see now that you've got those 2 individuals included in there. You can go ahead and print this also then as a manifest. There were manifest sheets that were included inside your kit in the event that you didn't select this option, which is a little bit more cumbersome because you do have to then write some things in. Here you can just print it straight off and keep one for your records, and then also include one in the FedEx package that you send to us. That way we're all on the same page of who we should have received based upon who you thought was being sent in that package. Are there any questions there? Okay, in the event that you've done that only in the first part of the day and you're still working on your orders, you can see that you can save and add later. So that provides you an option that you don't have to have everything done before you're adding them to this manifest. However, that may be your choice. Once you have completed it and you've got it sealed and you're ready to send it off, of course, mark it as sent. You can also then come back over here and look at outbound. Let me go ahead and save that later. Come over here to your outbound packages, and you see that it will keep track of that information for you. You have a PDF over here on the right-hand side that you can pull up and see who you included in that package as well.
And the package is just saying how many patients are in a specific package, or how many specimens have been returned to the lab at that time, correct?
At that time within that package, that is correct.
Okay, so you can have unlimited amount of patients or specimens in one package.
That is correct.
Okay.
So then the next thing would be, I'm going to take you over to statistics. And here the main report that you would utilize would be what orders had you placed. You may want to be doing a review of what you sent out, what you got back. So from here, you'll go ahead and select your specific option. Right now, I'm going to narrow it down to just the demo count. Then at that point in time, you put in your order date, and we're going to do it based upon collection date. And I'm just going to give a broad range here, so I've got a lot that, several that pull through here. So from the 1st through the 13th, we're going to order it by the case type. We're going to group by the ordering facility location, and the service is going to be all. You can generate that report. And that will bring up a list then of those that you have ran during that date range, so that you have a list of that in the event that you're needing that information.
And this is just in case you have specimens that are on hold for like missing information?
That would be one of the issues that might occur. You know, you could say, hey, I know I sent you John Smith the other day, and you know, there's been dialogue that's gone back saying, you know, we're missing some insurance information on John Smith, so the case has not been released yet. That's unlikely to happen. We will progress probably to try to make sure we get all the results back within a 24-hour to 48-hour time period.
Right.
So if I hound you about, unfortunately, the insurance information, if you'll just help us get that back as soon as possible, it would be greatly appreciated.
And the most important thing we need to understand, or we can express to all of our clients, is that it's so simple. It's first name, last name, date of birth, social. Because if they're a CARES Act patient or a CARES Act patient, they're going to be uninsured, and they're going to, if we get that social and the first name, last name, date of birth, that smooths the process. Everything will go smooth. If they're insured, give us a copy of their insurance with their first name, last name, and date of birth, and that way their insurance will be billed, but there'll be no copay for the patient, for the employee, because there's never a financial obligation if we bill their insurance, because that's how the program is set up. If they're a resident, of course, we need a face sheet.
Correct. Thank you. So now at this point in time then, so there's reporting. We've gone through logistics. Now we're getting to the final area where, okay, we've got the report that's gone out. It's come into the lab. It's being tested. And I apologize, I don't have a fake one out here right now. But what would occur is you'd have a screen, the screen here, and it would contain the individual's name, the collection date, the ordering facility, and it would also then have the report itself. And the report would be that PDF icon right over here. And you can click that icon, and once you click it, you have multiple options as far as managing it. You can either just view the report that comes back on your screen. You can go ahead and print the report, and you can also download it to your system at that point. So those would be the options that you would have at that time. And as you can see, we do have a print button there. You would click the square and print that specific case. Any questions on that? Okay. So again, going back, you'll be provided some login information based upon us getting your setup sheets. With that, at the bottom, it tells us who needs access to the system. Again, in the event that somebody's added to your team and you need them to have access, then if you'll push that information back to us through your account manager or directly to me, either way, we will assist you in getting that set up. Then there would be an email sent directly back to that individual based upon the information provided, so that they have their individual credentials connected to the system. You know, one of the things always here that I want to remind each facility is that if you had somebody that had access to the portal and for whatever reason they are no longer with you, we would like to be notified so that we can make sure then that their credentials are made inactive at that point in time. Once again that we get the orders, you have the option to go ahead and ship it, as we showed you through the logistics screen. Additionally, and that will be turned into a in a session on our side. The test will be performed, and then the results will be provided. We are in the process of creating a supply order function here within the system. Right now, we're still in the process of beta testing that and getting it ready. But as soon as we have that option available, we will make an announcement and let you know on that as well. Hopefully that will make your life easier too as you're going through the supplies that you frequently need. General questions from anybody? That pretty much sums up the system as we have it today. I am always available to answer questions that you may have. As you've seen, My telephone number is 817-658-1006. And my email address is Rocky, R-O-C-K-Y, at ProMusDiagnostics.com. We look forward to working with each one of you and supplying the needs and support for each one of your facilities.
Rocky, are you going to make this recording available to us so we can distribute it?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And do you have a few minutes after the call, Rocky, to stay on and talk to our reps for a few questions?
I do, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. And then Rocky, Pleasant View Home joined a little late here, so if you mind catching them up before we speak to the reps.
Sir, we had a little bit of a little bit of feedback. Can you?
Here, I'll cover it, Kevin. So Pleasant View is another facility that wanted to join in and see the portal, but they came in a little bit late, and so they missed the beginning portion. So as far as anybody that is from Empress, you are all good to go. If you have any more questions, just contact your account manager, and they'll make sure to help you out, and they can go through the different questions that you have. But we're going to review the very beginning portion of the portal again for Pleasant View because they came in a little bit late. And then after that, we'll have the rep, or everybody from Prestige, sorry, not Empress. But after that, we'll cover anything that the reps need to talk about.
Thanks, Nathan.
Okay, let me check, make sure nobody's waiting in the waiting room here.
I think there were a couple of Prestige facilities as well that came in a little bit late. So if you want to stay on for a little bit more, you can.
It looks like everybody right now is entered in. So let me go back at the very beginning here. And I'm going to log off so we get the initial screen. So again, based upon the client setup sheets that I receive, there will typically be individuals that are needing access to the portal. And once I have that information, I will go ahead and set each one of you up and send you credentials individually to provide you access to the portal. This would be your primary screen that you would come to. And this portion of the portal that you're receiving is for Vital DX, which provides all of the information on our testing side. And then I'm going to go ahead, and since I have a demo set up here, we'll go into this particular demo with these logins. And this would be the initial screen. Actually, this would be the second screen that you would receive. For those that came in late, once you log in for the very first time, it will provide you a acceptance sheet for all the disclaimers on the software platform and utilization of it. Once you accept that, then there would be a screen that would come back and ask you, do you want to set up security questions for your particular credentials, which you can do at that point, or you can do later as well. Once you have gone through that screen, then this screen would be the one that would show up. And as I mentioned to the earlier group, the life cycle of a case that we have goes through a progression of where in your office, you're going to set up a requisition. And that's the collection of the information that you need to start the test. Once you have all that information entered in, you change that requisition into an order. That order then comes to us, and at that particular point, we will then see, okay, hey, we've got some work that we need to do, and we're waiting on the specimen to get to us. Once we receive the specimen, we will match it up against your order and change it into an accession on our side, which then begins the process of the actual testing through the equipment and providing you the results back on that individual patient. So if you were me, I'd say, okay, well, you said we're going to use a requisition. I don't see requisition anywhere here. Well, if you go to the Orders tab in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that we have a button right there that says New Requisition. So at that particular point, you go ahead and click that button, and that will bring you to this screen to begin the process of setting up that requisition. Some of the fields you'll notice have an asterisk by them, which are default fields we have and required fields, and we have to have that information. We set it up for the panel type, the case type here. You don't have to worry about that at this particular point. You have the date that you're doing the collection or the collection has been done on, the time. The laboratory will be a default field that we will leave there. And then based upon your particular facility and your login credentials, it will potentially drop down right here. Because I've set this up as a demo account, you notice I have 2 different facilities. We're going to work specifically out of the ProMus demo account. With that as well, there may be several doctors that are associated with your facility for ordering. If that is the case and that information has been provided, that again will be a drop down. In this particular instance, I've only got one that's associated with the demo account, and hence it's showing up there at that point. Within the supply kits that we provide you, there is also some barcoded stickers. And the process here is that also has a place for a name and a date of birth. And it also has the number associated with that barcode. We would want you to enter that information into this lab case number field. Now, there's several ways that you can do that. You can also always type it in there. But for those that have a barcoded scanner that's attached to your laptop, your iPad, whatever it may be, you can click in this field, scan that with the barcode scanner, and it should auto-populate then that number right there. The next thing would be to go over here for collection method and select here. Right now we've got swab being general. We are going to break that out for you all and have it both as nail and oropharyngeal so that you have it as an option there. And for some of you, you may be wanting saliva kits, and that will be another option that will be available as well. From there, right here, if you want to provide that and can provide that information, that would be great. Not necessary. Over in the ICD-10 codes from our last meeting, there are going to be some ones that your group typically uses on a standard basis. We will make that so it's auto-populated and can be picked from a drop-down. At this point, go ahead and put in the information all together in that one cell. So the reason I'm saying that is, as I mentioned in the other group, we've had some that might put in Z11 and then put the 59 over here thinking that that separates the two. Well, that would be incorrect. We would want to have that so that it actually is Z11.59 entered into that area. And you can add as many as you want to in that situation there. Bill 2 will be insurance. That is the default value. Then we come down to the next area, which is the patient information. And as mentioned to the group earlier, I am a baseball fan, so we're going to put in individuals there, and I'm going to put in Al Kaline from the Detroit Tigers. I'm an old guy.
I had a bat made by Al Kaline's 9 on it.
There you go. We'll select the male. You put in the date of birth. We do not need this information here at this point in time. Again, going back to the fact that if these individuals are uninsured and we're billing them through the CARES Act, then we will need to have the Social Security information right there at that particular point. So that completes the patient profile information that we're needing. We skip down a little bit further. Once these tests are completed, we have here on the left side some reporting requirements that we need to comply with, that being resulting back to the CDC and the state registry. So some of the questions that some of the states have asked at this point in time be included is what is the patient's race, their ethnicity, and also the county that they live in. Here it is a drop down at that point in time for the race. And there are options there. And we would like to have the county. It may be that you don't know the county. And so to get that through, you put in unknown. What will happen on the back end then at that point in time is once the result has come back on the test and we begin to submit this information back to the state registry and the CDC, they will reject it based upon the fact that they require that field right there. So we need to capture the county that those individuals are in order to have the processing go all the way through the system as it's intended. In the event that this individual is an employee and has insurance, you're able to pull this particular section by one of two ways. You'll notice I had that little arrow pointing down, or you have insurance over here. Either place you can click and it will bring up this screen at that particular point in time. Fill in as much of the information as you can for that individual for us, so that that minimizes the time that we're coming back and potentially asking you for additional information on that individual, so that we can get the insurance completed and billed properly. At this particular point, we're going to just leave that blank.
Is that only for employees?
It would be anybody that is insured, that has
Okay.
insurance.
And Rocky, you did say that that information would save, right?
Yes, in fact, I'm going to show you what you would do. You've got everything now entered into the system for that requisition. And so you don't want to hit save and close, because then you lose the screen. So what we want to do is hit save. And you'll notice it says up here, hey, you didn't do the collection method. All right. So let's come back up here. And we'll go ahead and check swab. I don't know if y'all caught that earlier, but we do have some error checking in here to assist you. So we come back and hit save. Once that's saved, again, remember the life cycle of a case for us is you take it from a requisition, which you just did, and you create an order. But the next thing that might want to happen is, hey, I created this. What if I want to print this out and have it for my records? You can go ahead and come right here and print. And that will bring you up the screen with the requisition order that you just created. You can go ahead and print that for your records. And you may want to go ahead and print it for 2 copies, one to be included in the biohazard bag that you send the specimen with, and then keep the other one for your records at that particular point in time. So you've gone ahead and you've printed the requisition. You've got a copy that you can include in the shipping bag when you send it back to us. Now you're ready to say, okay, hey, I want to take this and actually submit it as an order so that the lab can process it. So you'll come over here and select order. As you'll need to, as you see up here, again, it's just got a question saying, hey, the collection date is earlier than today's date. Click OK if you want to update it or change it. And if you're okay with that date, then just go ahead and hit cancel. And we're going to go ahead and cancel. Now you see that it's been successfully converted to an order. So that begins the process then on our side of knowing that we've got something to do for your facility, and we're going to be on the lookout for specimens coming in at some point in time over the next 24 hours. With that then, you'll see that alkaline was added here, and I'd had one earlier done to make a difference between the two. With the fact that now we've got an order, you've got to get it out your door. You've got to actually get it to us. So typically, of course, that would be that you've got a FedEx pack with a FedEx label that's returning that information back to us. And there was also a shipping manifest that was in paper format that was included in your supplies. We want to show you an option that you have available to you to hopefully make your life a little bit easier. And that is if you go over to logistics, we have an opportunity here to create a package which will also provide you with a manifest of who's included in the package that you can keep for your records and also include in the package that you send to us as well. So to begin that, you've actually got to select somebody saying, who do you want to send over to the lab? If I don't select anybody and I come over here and say create package, you'll see an error here that says, hey, you need to select somebody for us to begin. So go ahead and come back down, and we're going to select both the K-line test, and we're going to select Lou Brock. We're now going to say create the package, and you'll see now it has some information. You can type in Tony Williams, you can put in Rocky Williams, or whoever else it may be. Then at that particular point in time, off of your FedEx label or whichever label you're utilizing, you would go ahead and enter the information for that tracking number. The default is it's coming to our location here. Which carrier is associated with that tracking number? FedEx. Again, the package date. Today's the 13th, so you're putting it together today. You're probably selecting where it's going to be overnight delivery, priority overnight. So the 14th. And you'll see in this particular package right now, you've got 2 orders that are included in it. And you actually see those individuals down here as well. Well, the question might be then is, well, hey, I know I'm going to have more that I'm going to add to this. I'm just trying to get this ready. You can come down here to the bottom and say save and add later, and that will hold that in the queue then for you to come back to and add additional individuals. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and say let's print the manifest. We're ready to send and we're done. So as we do that, you'll get a report that comes back, and you'll notice it has the information then of what you've set up as far as who you're sending it to, the tracking information, dates, and then you also have the individuals that were included in that package. So at that point in time, it provides you with a reference if you're saving that information in some file somewhere. And then additionally, provide that with us, to us in the shipment that you send. Once you've got to that point, you're ready to progress forward. You can go ahead and you've now put it actually, in your mail bin for FedEx to pick up. You can go ahead and mark it as sent. And you'll notice that you've got a package number here as well that's internal to the system. Well, the question may be, well, that was yesterday. What did I send? I don't recall. Well, you can come back over to outbound packages, and you can see that they are out here individually listed either as in transit, because it's not going to get there until the next day, or you've got one that you've gone ahead that's new, and you can click to reference your mind and okay, all right, I see I've got more work to do on that. So staying on this page, I want to bring to your attention as well, we are beta testing, providing a supply order screen that you can do directly through the system as opposed to having to do that through email or through your reps, and notify us that you're running out of supplies and you need additional supplies. Once we have launched that, we will do a email blast to everybody to let you know that it is available out in the system with additional information as well, how to utilize it. So now we've got the package packed, and we're thinking, okay, when am I going to get these results? How can I find my results? So that would be going back to the Finalize tab right here. And at this point, I don't have any loaded specifically, but what would occur on this screen, there would be headings up at the top that would consist of the date, the time it was collected, first name, last name, the ordering facility, and then there would be an icon over here on the far right-hand side, the PDF icon that you can go ahead and click. When you click that icon, there will be several options that you have available. You can either view it at that particular point in time, you can go ahead and print it, or you can download it. Those would be your options in regards to that case. Now we've gone to the point where, it's at the end of the week, you want to just confirm, hey, have I covered all my bases? Did we get everything taken care of? You can come over here and you can look at the orders manifest report. You would go ahead and click your particular facility, and that's going to be based upon, again, your login credentials. For this particular point, I'm going to narrow everything down to the demo account. You give a date range that you're wanting to look at that, and I'm going to move it from the 1st through the 13th. You can come over here and put in these filters. I'm going to do it by case type. I want to do it by the ordering facility location, and I'm going to do all services. At that point in time, go ahead and generate the report. And we'll come back then with everybody that had been submitted as requisitions during that time period from the report. So that gives you a check balance there to go ahead and look back and just make sure you've covered everything that you need to cover based upon your reporting needs. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and come back to the order screen. And are there any questions at this point? Okay, I think that does it then. Nate, Kevin?
Yeah, Rock. I think thank you very much. I hope everybody got as much out of that as I did, because I know I was totally clueless when I came here this morning. So I learned a lot, but I'm gonna have to watch the recording again to take care of the finer points. Nate, do you have anything?
I had one question from my facility.
Sure.
They were wondering, let's see. They asked, will there be instruction on how we are collecting the saliva samples, as well as how long the samples are viable for before processing?
Yes, in fact, in their supply kit, you notice that for the oral, we did have instructions that were included in there. On the nasal, we will duplicate that as well when we send out those kits, those kits to those facilities that are wanting that option. And again, there will also be instructions on the saliva too. So there would be information that's there. I know some of the questions that had come back was as far as, hey, do we have to have an ice pack on these? And the response back on that is no, you do not. What we are doing at this point in time is, since you're overnighting those to us and we are running them within a 24 to 48 hour time frame, they are staying within the stability time frames that our equipment is validated for each one of those kits, and based upon what we've been approved for from the laboratory management team as well.
Okay.
If you want to include the ice packs, that's not a problem, but that is not a requirement.
Okay.
And I'll say, actually, today we actually received a package from some of your peers that did have an ice pack in there.
Okay.
Okay. But they will get the instructions then in their actual package, or do I need to let you know that they would want that first?
If it comes a new setup, it will be included in the supply. Now, when we resend support supplies, we are not including that, but we can if requested.
I see. And will it also say how long they're viable for?
The viability for these is, once we get them in-house, we are going ahead and refrigerating them as well. And so we will have them in-house for the remainder of the week. It'll be a 7-day time period that we'll have them in-house.
And just for curiosity's sake, Rocky, once the specimens have been processed and all this, what do you just incinerate them? How do you get rid of the medical waste?
Those are disposed through a medical waste company that we have contracted with. So
okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
But they will get results sooner than that, 7 days though, right?
Oh yes,
Oh.
24 to 48 hours.
Okay, perfect.
And those will be available on the portal, again, underneath the Finalize tab.
Okay.
Good questions, Jessica, and your team. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything. Anybody else?
I have some questions if I can ask now.
Sure, Stephanie, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, because I have one of my reps has a client that is really curious about who can report things for them. So if you're reporting to the state, as long as I put the county, you can report it to their state and stuff, and that means that they don't necessarily have to do that, or would they still have to report that anyways?
No, they would not. I mean, they can, but that's part of the package that we're bringing to the table, is that we provide reporting back to the CDC and the state registries.
Okay, and then you guys are able to process over the weekend, right? Besides maybe like Sundays?
Correct, yes. If there's a shipment that's sent out to us on Friday afternoon for delivery on Saturday, it will be processed.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions.
And then, sorry, so the requisition form on here, I had some confusion before, but I think it was clarified a little bit better. So once they fill it out, they can save it and they don't have to fill out a new requisition form for each time they go in and test if it's the same person, right? It should be saved and they can just pick that up and then submit it again, kind of it like that.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it'd be different collection date, of course, and
Right.
but yes, to that question.
Okay, and the physician signature, how does that work?
We would need to get I know that some of you have, based upon emails that have gone back and forth, a standing order that's on file, but we would need to get that signature as it is in the file so that we can digitize it and put it inside the system.
Okay.
So
So
the signatures that we have from the new account forms would work then, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The signatures that we receive in the beginning from the physician with our new account forms, is that enough?
If they're machine created, no, we really need to have the physical signature. Because I notice on several of the forms that I've received, those are auto-generated through the software platform. We actually would need to have a ink signature there.
Okay.
Again, good questions.
So they
Rocky?
can't do it through sign.
Kenzie, say that again, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So they can't do it through DocuSign?
We would prefer that we actually have, DocuSign sometimes just takes, you type in your name, and then it creates a signature based upon that name
Exactly.
using a font, excuse me. We really need to have their signature so that as we go back to billing on the insurance side, we can say, yeah, the doctor actually did request this, and here's the signature.
So Rocky, what you want them to do is just basically get a piece of paper, have them sign that piece of paper and send it to the lab. Then you can digitize that signature. Is that correct?
That is correct. Or if they've got it already in a, if you've got it in a PDF, I'm able to go ahead and capture that PDF signature as well. So either way, either a live paper to us or a PDF of their signature would work.
Okay, so when they sign, if they actually have a wet signature on the actual account setup form, that will work.
That will work if it's an actual signature, yes.
Very good. Thanks, Rock.
Great questions, everyone.
That's why we hired them, Rock. They're all superstars.
There you go. We like that. Any others?
do we have access to a demo portal for us as reps to look at?
That's a good thing. I will actually send out an email to Kevin and Nate so they can broadcast that to everybody, and
Okay.
it can just be a play site for y'all.
And Rocky, is there a way we can get their credit card numbers, all the reps, so they can make sure that they can pay us for this dummy site?
Well, you know what? That was one of my thoughts, but I thought, I'll hold that till we're better friends,
For a nominal fee.
Hey, Rocky.
Yes.
Is there a rep portal that gives us information to activity from the client?
Yes, there is. And what should be coming out of that specifically, and there's been some email traffic on that, is that each rep and their managers will need to execute a business associate agreement because of us dealing with all the PHI information that's passing back and forth.
Correct.
And so that we can have that come from a central location, I'm going to be working with Kevin and Nate and the team to make sure that you all receive that so that we can get that back in-house. And once I receive that information as far as that agreement, then I can set up a credentials for you individually so that you can access it for your facilities.
Okay, very good.
Hey, Rocky, while I have you, have those facilities from Prestige received their own portal login?
They should have, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Kevin, Nate, you want to wrap it up and or let me know what I need to take care of beyond here?
Sure, no problem at all. Rocky, thank you so much for everything. If y'all have any questions whatsoever, don't feel free to email me. If you didn't catch Rocky's email address, that's fine. Email me and copy me on everything so that we can all kind of stay on the same page. You guys are doing fantastic. We really appreciate you all. That's it for today. Rocky, we'll look forward to it. We'll get that recording out to us and we'll get that sent out to everyone, okay?
Thank you very much, Kevin and team.
Thanks,
Thank
Rocky.
you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you,
bye-bye.
Rocky.
Thanks, Rocky.
Y'all have a great weekend.
You too, sir.
You too.